In 1987, humanity passed a milestone of stupendous importance, and nobody really noticed. According to the highly respected Genuine Progress Indicator, that was the last year that growth in the economy also meant genuine improvement in human well-being. Since then, the growth in the economy has left us worse off, not better. Less happy, less healthy, less content. For Katherine Trebeck, 1987 was the moment of arrival, when the economy was delivering the goods and services needed to provide a healthy, fulfilling life for all the planet's people. The book that she co-authored with Jeremy Williams is called The Economics of Arrival: Ideas for a Grown-Up Economy. Our challenge now, they argue, is not to grow the economy, but to improve it, ensuring that the benefits of arrival are shared by everyone. What we need now is not more, but better. And tell me about arrival, because I don't think that's a term that people are generally familiar with, but it means a great deal in this book, right?
I mean, I guess folk aren't familiar with it in the context of economics, because we're almost banished from thinking that growth and development has a destination. The default assumption is that we will just merrily carry on growing the economy, keep on developing, and it's almost this forbidden question: does that journey have a destination? And of course, though, in other aspects of our lives, people understand arrival all the time. They understand how beautiful it is to arrive home at the end of a tough week. They understand how wonderful it is when you've been traveling to arrive in the destination and to explore and appreciate. And so when my co-author Jeremy just almost flippantly said GDP-rich countries need to recognize that they've arrived, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I thought there's something in that. Because I was working at Oxfam at the time, and I was just muddling over in my head trying to make sense of the fact that there's so much poverty and inequality in the world, and all the environmental destruction on top of that, and folks in the richest countries are suffering and turning to food banks and self-harming because they're stressed and feeling despairing in their lives. So there's these so-called developed countries clearly haven't sorted it out. So arrival is one half of the ideas in the book, and then the other half is this idea of making ourselves at home. So there's this dual concept. So arrival is almost the possibility. It's almost to say, okay, you've sort of packed your bags now, and you've got there. You've got enough wealth, you've got enough resources, but in a way the more exciting project is having recognized that, to shift gear and make ourselves at home. And that's a very dynamic, very exciting, but it's very much about changing the whole purpose of the economy. So it's those two concepts that we're sort of weaving together. I used to do a lot of work with the mining sector, and mining companies, they invest for decades. They know they have to be good neighbours, they have to be good, have good relations around them. So we're certainly capable of it. And it just seems in some really crucial aspects of life and political decision making and business decisions that we take our eye off that longer term. And I wouldn't want to rarefy it, because the short term is the here and now, and we need to look after each other. It's the same as helping people cope really matters as well. We shouldn't just I wouldn't say we just need to focus on transforming the system. We need to help people survive now. I spent almost 8 years, or over 8 years, working for an organisation that had a big part of its activities was humanitarian responses. It was an international development agency that would, when there was a humanitarian crisis, it would go and just help people survive. And so that really, really matters. But the challenge is, if that's all we're doing, if we're not looking at the drivers of that vulnerability, then we won't get ourselves out of the challenges we're facing now.
Katherine Trebeck, author of The Economics of Arrival, is the Knowledge and Policy Lead at the Wellbeing Economy Alliance and a senior visiting researcher at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, Scotland. This is one of a series of interviews about human goals and the objectives of economic activity. It's part of a project we call Counting What Counts. If you found this interview rewarding, you might also enjoy our interviews with Jigme Thinley, former Prime Minister of Bhutan, whose government pursued gross national happiness instead of gross national product. Or Julia Kim, who now heads the Gross National Happiness Center in Bhutan. Other interviews in the series include John Helliwell, lead author of the UN's World Happiness Report, and Mark Anielski, author of The Economics of Happiness. For the Green Interview, I'm Silver Donald Cameron, and I'm happy that you were able to join us.